Hello and welcome back to the National Season 2, the first franchise-based esports league in the country. We are now on the 4th day of our Tekken conference and the season is getting more and more intense. Hi everyone, I'm your panel host Claire on air and we're joined with none other than Hari and Poro-kun. How you guys doing?
Hi Claire.
I'm doing fine. Excited for this day.
Yeah, I know, me too. But before we move on to today's set, by the way, guys, let's talk about day 3. Because, yesterday's matches were pretty brutal. And just a couple of things that happened. We had Vermilion ending the day 0-4. We also had Pika snagging wins with 2 matches. And Maru ending the day 4-0. So, Hari, Poro, any thoughts? Let's start with Hari or Poro.
Yeah. One of the things that really surprised me is the Ana pick for Maru. It was actually smart of him to use Ana, especially in an online setup, because Ana's 50-50 game is very on point, and that is something that is really scary in this type of setting. Also, that Coffee Prince versus Nature Lover match was really a barn burner. I was really inclined towards Nature Lover taking that win, but in the end, it was Coffee Prince who took the V.
I like those moments that you actually counted, Hati, especially with Maru on Ana. Definitely a fantastic choice and certainly unexpected as well. But for me, what really highlighted, one of the highlights of the previous episode here in the Nationals is definitely Pika's win streak that launched him several spots up into the rankings. We're going to be seeing that later, of course. And that he finally actually brought out a well-requested character here in the Nationals, which is Yoshimitsu. Certainly a crazy character and always entertaining to watch. And I hope we see more of that today.
Right, and I think we're going to be talking about the match that happened yesterday, Yoshimitsu and Brian. But before that, let's talk about the matches set today. So you guys know the schedule, you guys know how everything's arranged. What are your predictions? Do you have any thoughts on how today will go so far?
For me, not just a prediction, but what I'm looking forward is Maru facing the two-headed dragon, that is the Smart Omega. Pika and Jules, the Dragon Brothers. Also looking forward to the featured match, which is Nature Lover versus RakEnRoL. Both are quite new to the national. Nature Lover having that edge of having more experience in the pro scene than RakEnRoL.
Certainly, and RakEnRoL had a pretty shaky day number 3, racking up a few losses in his record.
Yes.
But still, after his performance in the even earlier days of this conference, we saw that he can definitely bring the fight to all of the other players here. So, aantayin lang nating mailabas na yun. But what I'm really looking forward to is how the Warriors, who also had a terrible day number 3, will be bouncing back, because that's what we know them for. Alam natin na when they're down, they always have the habit of raising the stakes and raising the bar when they return. So I hope they definitely do that today.
True, there's always going to be a chance for redemption. And Hari, since Poro-kun talked about his anticipated team match for today, what about you? Who are you most anticipating for today?
Looking forward to the Hapon versus Broken match. This is the first time that they'll be facing each other, with Hapon bearing an Emperor insignia. I would like to see how Dojin would measure up to Hapon in this type of setting. Kind of excited to, about which character would be using. And as we all know, Hapon has been on the street this past few days, and he has whipped out a number of characters. So, that is something that I would really want to know what the turnout would be.
Very excited and really, really, really anticipating all the matches for today, in fact. But I want to just go back to what happened yesterday, because I remember we had a match set between Brian and Yoshimitsu, and I remember you guys were going crazy. Your conversations were about the lore of Brian and Yoshimitsu, like there was drama happening. So why don't you share a little bit about that here?
Go for
on the
it,
main
Hari.
stage? Yeah, go Hari!
What, me? Okay. Well, all I know about the lore is that it started at the end of Tekken 4, when it was Yoshi who saved Brian, like after Brian passed out. It was Yoshimitsu who brought Brian to Dr. Vuskonovich back then. And then something about his cybernetics score, basically Brian was dying. And the agreement was Dr. Vuskonovich would give him a new body. Come Tekken 5, Dr. Vuskonovich wasn't able to fulfill his end of the bargain, making Brian mad, and he got in an outrage,
Oh gosh.
destroying most of the Manji Ninja clan, and that is when Yoshimitsu started going after him.
Mm.
But that was when Tekken 5 started.
It's like Brian wasn't grateful to Yoshi at all. Literally, he had to be
Yeah,
there
kinda.
to save his life,
That is-
and
that
he
is Brian,
kills off his
yeah.
clan.
Yeah, maximum greed on Brian's end. Even earlier in the lore of Tekken, he actually apparently used to be a cop, a police officer before the whole transplant thing happened. But even then, back then, it seems that he was surrounded by dark rumors, being involved in shady business. And then that accident did happen. He was saved by Yoshimitsu, and
Mhm.
when he realized that he was not given the artificial body, but instead was given a perpetual energy core, or some really valuable core by Dr. B. He
Right.
decided to go. He decided to go even crazier and almost completely demolish the Magic Clan, as Hati mentioned.
But guys, if you think about it, since Brian is like a semi-creation of Dr. B, doesn't that make Brian like a half sibling of Alyssa Boskonovich? Think about it.
That does me.
Well, I would
Does it work?
lean more into Brian and Yoshi being. Yeah, in a way, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, so I suppose that kind of counts, since they are both products of Dr. B. Though, of course, Alisa is completely robotic in that sense.
Yeah, true. That's really cool, guys. We do have a couple of comments in the comment section, because I read the live, and a lot of them were just wanting to know more about the casters. So, Hadi, Poru, who are your favorite characters to play, like in 30 seconds, and why?
You go ahead, Hadi, first. You go ahead.
Go,
first.
Hadi. Yeah.
You go first.
All right. Well, I've always loved Ganryu as a player. He's one of my personal favorites, along with Bob. But talking about Ganryu, back when I was starting with Tekken, I started with Tekken 5 and in transition to Tekken 6, and nobody was playing Ganryu for some unknown reason. And I was trying to do some research with a character, watching international streams, and I saw one of this international player using Ganryu and completely demolishing other players with the simplest of moves. And I was inspired by that player. When I picked him up, I realized he was pretty strong, and I fell in love not just with the character, but with his story as well, and the actual sport of sumo, which I think people should check out.
Awesome.
Okay.
So we have Ganryu for Poru-kun. What about you, Hadi? Who is your favorite character?
Ever since Second Tag 1, I've been a Brian Fury main.
Brian.
So yeah, that's the reason why I know most of the lore. Well, I think of him as really brutal, and most of his moves really are powerful. Wall combos, the taunts. What else? Everything about him is bad A. So it's probably one. Come Tekken 5, I shifted to Nina. Nina is very quick, very nimble, and she had a lot of mix-ups back in Tekken 5. Well, actually until now. But yeah, so I stuck with those two characters, Brian and Nina.
Brian and Nina. That's awesome. You know, I would love to talk to you guys more about everything else, but we are so close to starting day 4 of the National Season 2. So everybody stay in your seats. I officially welcome you to the National Season 2, day 4. Have fun.
So many other players have decided to switch things up with their characters. However, these two players, Dawn Argus of STIE Olympians and Signal Ultra Warriors Nature Lover, have been very loyal with their own characters. We have Eliza for Dawn Argus and Julia Chang for Nature Lover, sporting a 44% win rate and 29% win rate respectively.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised with Dawn Argus because we all know characters, but main characters now would be Heihachi and Eliza Lance. Just so happened that he never brought out his Heihachi yet in this conference. Now, I'm quite just surprised with Nature Lover, because we know that he has a lot of characters under his belt. He has probably mostly mga babaeng characters, so like Selena, Alisa. Well, he has an Anna and a lot more. Probably he is sticking to the hashtag that we've been pushing this past since the start of the conference, Tunay na Julia, and that is something that he wants to secure and prove to everyone.
Well, if he's going to be proving anything, the National certainly is the stage for it. So nakita niyo naman, ang dami nating exciting matches that are coming your way. Uh, what are your thoughts on the upcoming matches? Are you looking forward to any interesting matches here in the first half, Hadi?
There's actually one in particular. It's actually about Ren Maru facing the two-headed dragons, the Smart Omega, the double dragon, the Dragon Brothers, Pika and Jules Lozano. That is something very interesting. I'm sure that the Lozano brothers have done their homework. In terms of facing Maru, but just a bit of a background. Maru has been up all night studying as well.
Oh, are you sure he's been studying? But yeah, it's no. That would probably be the case. And I'm surprised. I'm looking forward to seeing what he's been studying and the results of that study. Now we're going to be taking a look at our first match, which is of course. Again, between Laos Auto Group Playbook Esports AK, here he is with his, of course, top three characters of Shaheen, Geese, and Akuma. These are all very signature. We've seen him use these characters. Ika nga nila, kapag Pinoy ka, madalas may Shaheen ka. And AK is definitely the Shaheen here in the Philippines with a, what is that, 68% win rate on the character. And but he also has other characters as well. As you can see, characters played at number 10.
Yeah, especially about the Shaheen joke in the international scene. Whenever people hear that you're from the Philippines and tatanong ka ganyan, so you're Filipino, you should be you have a Shaheen, right?
Yes, that certainly is the case. We've been asked that so many times. But let's take a look at his opponent, of course, STIE Olympians RakEnRoL, who has been sporting the one and the only king in the nationals so far. Have yet to brought out Armor King, but he has revealed Gigas actually in his match against Maru yesterday.
Okay, yeah, hailing from the Church of Rock and Roll. This is actually a David and Goliath match between AK and Rock and Roll. Leaning towards AK, but I would really like to see Rock and Roll win this match.
He definitely needs to take that win right now, because he's been struggling to get a stable footing so far in the rankings. But still, we've seen that he can actually bring the fight to these players. Kayang-kaya niyang pumalag against some of the best names that are competing here in the nationals. And as we said before, he has the king. He still has yet to release the Armor King. Maybe yun yung sagot dito sa kanyang rut na kinalalagyan at the moment. We'll see.
Okay, especially in the online setting, where king or the grappler has the slight advantage. I'm not sure if they would take advantage abuse that advantage. Pero looking at how the players have reacted to the throws in the previous games, in the previous days, it is still possible to escape the throws. May kalas pa din eh. That is something that all the viewers should be taking note of.
Yeah, it may be a bit harder due to the online situation, but it definitely is still possible. After all, some of these players have even been pulling off some seriously high execution and demanding combos here in the nationals. So you will notice that the gameplay is actually quite what do you call it? It's definitely playable. Tekken Online is definitely playable and has been worked on by the Tekken team for such a long time and has done a great job. So I think we're getting right into our match. It's LPE.AK against SEO's RakEnRoL.
Whoa!
Oh boy!
Wait. AK bringing out the classic Paul Phoenix.
Yeah, we haven't seen
Okay.
this in a very long time. Laging Shaheen, minsan Akuma, actually madalas Akuma, but the classic Paul Phoenix or even the classic martial law has yet to come out at least until now.
I mean, if you look at it, if you observe closely yung mga previous matches ni AK, he has been experimenting with a lot of characters. So he's probably looking for something that really fits his play style in this kind of situation.
Yes, and of course the online setting will probably also help, considering that he does have that demo man that is already hard to react to, but already AK with massive damage on rock and roll within seconds of the match, already in the red, and there it is, Hot E, the throw that we were talking about, a very fast first round for LPE.AK.
And of course, rock and roll, being a grappler himself, needs to make a comeback. I mean, it's just the first round. Let's see what he has in store for. I'm pretty sure he has prepared for this matchup.
We can see he is indeed going for those throws just like a proper king would. Isa yun sa mga mahalagang tools ni King, as well as, of course, as his he also has plenty of other tools that he can use in his arsenal, including that Jaguar hook. Actually, he's gonna get the wall. Yes, is he gonna break it? He takes it downstairs. AK is in the red. He goes for the flapjack and goes into the giant swing as well. Oh my goodness, that is some serious damage. I was not expecting that.
And of course, it's very fortunate for rock and roll that the ball was there. Of course, you cannot expect a giant swing if you land against a wall.
Which means already maximum damage kaagad yung kakagat sa kalaban. Now, rock and roll on a life deficit here within seconds. Gets the throw. AK with no throw break. Is he gonna continue, of course, with the chain throw? He will. Is he gonna get it though? He is!
Yes.
Oh my goodness, that is the King's Bridge. No break on that, but serious break on the back of Paul Phoenix.
Okay. Incorrect punish from rock and roll, but here comes the T-bone. Bam!
Oh, tries to go for the unblockable as well. 20 seconds on the clock. AK trying to keep some space going. He's not panicking with the clock, but he lands the blue rage drive as well. And an ultimate punishment on the floor will give him that second round. Very nice stuff. Ooh.
Was patient. And so, he got kind of impatient during the last few seconds of that round. Lamang siya eh. I'm not sure why he kept on pushing against AK. And then as a result, he got hit by that rage drive.
Certainly a questionable decision niya on rock and roll side, but still he has the advantage. AK is going to be returning the favor though. Drops it off axis yung combo and lands yet another blue Phoenix Smasher. Incredible work landing those precise Phoenix Smashers on his side and getting that instant one win on his end.
I mean, he had those smashers up his sleeve. I can't remember him throwing any normal smasher. I mean, if it ain't blue, then forget about it. Sobrang, it was very useful. Yung second to the last, that was the most questionable for me. Rock and Roll could have had that round. Siguro contemplation pa from him. I mean, he had the life lead more than double of what AK had.
Even in the last part, actually, he had the life lead, and then AK managed to find a way back, just landing serious damage. Yun nga yung sinasabi nila about Paul Phoenix. When he's in the red, you're the one in trouble, actually. Kasi talagang one hit lang, if he manages to get that combo on you, you can make sure that he's gonna make all of that disappear.
True, also known as the One Punch Man of Tekken. I mean, Paul Phoenix has been infamous for his Phoenix Smasher ever since Tekken 1. And up until now, it's a very formidable tool for him. And it's something that you can count on when Paul is in trouble.
But maybe that is the case. Maybe that is the reason kung bakit hindi nilalabas ni AK yung Phoenix Smasher. He knows that this character is known for that and known for the demo man, so we never saw any of it because he knows that Rock and Roll may be expecting that and is already ready with the punish. What we did see, however, as expected of Rock and Roll, was that he went for the throws. He got the chain throws. He got the King's Bridge, even dealing some serious damage. I even love how he ended the combo with an air throw into the giant swing, which gave him the damage to actually finish off the round.
Yeah, you have to admire his awareness of the environment. He knew his position right after the balcony break. He knew that behind him was a wall which he could use to his advantage by just going for a giant swing instead of a normal, probably a tomahawk or a spinning pile driver.
Mm. It's actually pretty hard going for the tomahawk or the spinning pile driver after a balcony break, but we know Rock and Roll can do it. Wise decision making there. Let's see if he can make more good decisions here in this next match. As we can see, I think he already made one wise decision, Hati.
Of course, knowing that King has a huge advantage in this stage, the Forgotten Realm, and Rock and Roll being a King main is already, aware of that.
He definitely is. He's gonna want to make use of the three floor breaks that is here on this stage. Gusto niyang ibagsak si Paul Phoenix and deal those damages. Of course, Paul Phoenix has his own tools to make that happen, but let's see both of these players keeping their distances at the first, and AK getting that first floor break with a throw. How ironic, Hadi.
I mean, AK has been in this kind of situation before. Of course, he already has an answer, but here comes Rock and Roll breaking the second floor.
Oh, I was hoping to see a second shiny wizard, but that is pretty tough. He gets the counter hit shove, gets the throw as well, breaks the last floor, and immediately we're downstairs. And Rock and Roll making full use of that damage he has in his arsenal.
And all three floors broken, and we're just in the first round. Imagine what these two could do in the following ones. But then again, AK with that life advantage right away with no throw break with a giant swing.
Not good for AK there. When King's back is towards the wall, he really loves going for those giant swings simply because the opponent won't be able to tech, as you can see earlier there. Now AK gets the demo man on the back. Rock and Roll is in the red. Oh my goodness, it's blocked, and there is the punish that we were talking about. Rock and Roll was ready for it, and now he's one round away from evening out the score.
Okay, gising si Rock and Roll, he knows the punish for the demo man. Even with the just frame, it's still punishable even with the pushback. Now here comes Rock and Roll again with a misinput.
Munti ka na makuha yung likod niya doon, but AK has his back towards the wall. Now AK, he's trying to keep Rock and Roll there, trying to keep him caged in that corner, and Rock and Roll is trying to fight his way back. Both lives are actually almost equal. Rock and Roll gets the advantage here. AK burns the Rage immediately, gets that mid and knocks him out of the floor as well. With 30 seconds left to spare, he gains a round of his own.
Again, Rock and Roll aware that the last hit of the string with that wall combo will not connect, kaya hindi niya tinuloy. Apparently, he wasn't able to follow up, and giving AK some sort of room to breathe, making him, retaliate with those attacks.
Yes, that seems to have been the case there. Now, Rock and Roll slowly but surely trying to push AK. The side switch on that throw. Both players actually not having the great throw break game here in the first match. AK does manage to escape the giant swing. Good awareness there. Na-recognize niya na may pader nga sa likod, and he might go for it. This is the ultimate punishment. Is this going to be it? That is definitely the case. It's 2 rounds apiece. AK versus Rock and Roll.
And you can see AK was giving Rock and Roll a dose of his own medicine. AK resulting to the throw game, and there, just like that, from the shredder, more than half of life gone, and again, the ultimate punishment.
Last chance here for Rock and Roll. He gets hit by the ultimate tackle yet again. Goes straight for the armbar, and AK challenging Rock and Roll's throws. Challenging the King main with throws actually from Paul's end, and making it work fantastically. So great work there.